So after everything was said and done, and I put out Chrome and Ivory, um, which was I set the date for Chrome and Ivory, which was originally March 17th of 2009. And around the same time, around when I had already finished the project and was getting ready to put it out, Doom was putting out Born Like This. I think it came out a week after mine, or a week before after mine. I can't remember exactly. But it came out pretty much a week's time span of mine. And that was a good and a bad thing because it brought more attention to my project. Um, but it also caused a lot of confusion, as well as was this like a joint project? Was this a joint project? Was this a double thing that was supposed to happen? And it was just by coincidence that Born Like This got dropped at the same time as Chrome and Ivory. Um, but at the same time, um, I didn't let it falter or think that it would take away from the project too, because I think they were just two different projects, two great projects, um, and it was just a coincidence. So when the album finally came out, I had a little. This is the days of MySpace, and I had a little sampler up, and the day it came out, I mean, from the gate, people were just amazed by the album. People were copying the album, sharing it with their friends, buying multiple copies, and you know, within a week's span time, like the album was just almost an instant hit, and it freaked me out because people who I didn't even know, or people were coming out of nowhere telling me that about this album, how great it was, and giving me all these praises, and it just was unexpected. I knew that I made a great project in my mind, but this was like the first time that so many people outside of where I'm usually giving my music out and giving it to people who have personally or from online service come to me and just told me how good and how much they enjoyed that project. So it felt good to know that all that work that I put in was actually paying off and people actually responded well to the album. People were reviewing the album, favorable reviews and this and that, and it was becoming on best album of 2009 list and all this stuff that I did not expect, and all this extra attention that I did not expect, but I did like. The problem with all that attention is the album um, ended up being so popular so fast that I got hit with copyright uh, infringements for all the movie samples that I put in, especially on the track. The main track was Good Morning because I threw a whole bunch of commercial movie samples in there, from Forrest Gump to Chappelle Show, 40-Year-Old Virgin, Singing in the Rain, and all that stuff, as well as Good Burger samples. It was just that main song had so much content that I didn't get cleared, and on top of that, um, the album was selling so well. Representatives from Doom's camp had asked me to not sell the album anymore because it wasn't set up as far as him being, issued a proper cut or proper deal. And Doom is probably one of the hardest people to track down. And I spent 3 years trying to track him down during the process of this, and it just was not possible. So out of respect, I took the album down off iTunes and the retailers, but I still had it on my YouTube available for download. If people wanted to, torrent it, and it did end up on torrent sites, and it just kept spreading that way. But the problem with the album that I did have, which is very few problems, but is once I started to transition out of the MF Wooly phase and start going into Granddad Wooly phase, I kind of got it. It all got lost in the mix where everybody thought, once my name changed and no more MF Wooly content was coming out, that they thought I just vanished off the face of the earth. And a lot of people weren't aware of the 1032 LP when I put it out a year later, or they were late to it because they didn't know that the name changed. Some people gravitated quickly and some people didn't. So it just it made it harder for when I made the name change for me to shed the MF Wooly successes and notoriety, because once I was ready to just become what that album was, which was a transitional album to who I am now and the ability to make the songs I can make now and the content, it just took a while for that to break off. And but I don't regret the outcome of anything. because it made me who I am now. It let me open up my horizons for as far as musically and creatively. And now I feel at this point, within my realm, I can make any type of song I want, and not be boxed in the way that I could have been if I did not put out this album, and be able to show that much needed side of Wooly that needed to be brought out. And now, today being the day that it comes out, 5-year anniversary re-release, and with the power of sites like Bandcamp and these free sites, and just giving it out to the people, giving an official version out, because there is no official version out anymore, and I felt like it was needed to be, because it is a great project, and I think the world needs to be able to assess it in a better, easier way, and why not from the person who created it, and that's me, and giving it out for people for free, giving them the extra content that I didn't put on the album, and just reliving a great project and a great album that I created 5 years ago, and to this day still holds up as one of my best works, and probably one of the best albums of its time when it came out. And I feel like people who did what I did before and after, and this is me personally, but did not make an album or a project as quality, as detailed, as focused as Chrome and Ivory, and probably won't. And I'll stand by that album to this day. That's probably one of the best Doom related projects that Doom never rhymed on that's ever been made. So to the people who have heard the album and who do own the album, I thank you for the support of it, and the continued listening to it if you still listen to it. And the people who haven't heard the album, listen to it. It's a great project. It is unique. It's very, very comical, enjoyable album. It has so many elements to it that people just gravitate towards that project for some reason. And I think it's just because it was put together well. So if you haven't heard Chrome and Ivory, it's on my Bandcamp now. It's available for free. You just go and cop it. Give it a listen, front to back. It's a project that you have to listen in front to back. And it's just something that, is a special project. And I am glad that 5 years later, I'm able to give it to the world again and just let more people experience, what I was able to create at that time, and also what I'm, planning on creating in the future. And hopefully, they see just how well-rounded of an MC I am, and just, where I'm willing to go from one project to the next, and just, be myself. And that's what it's all about in this game, just being yourself. So go ahead. Album's out again today, the re-release, 5-year anniversary. Go to granddadwoolly.bandcamp.com, download it, share it with your friends, tell people about it, let people listen to it, bump it in your car, get people talking about it again, like it was back in 2009, and put them, and then don't forget, check out the other stuff, Flight to Lisbon, Grand Hostility, Project Zero, 1032, all those are great projects, and they all are individually their own body of work. They all have a different sound and appeal, but they're all quality projects. I love each of them, so go ahead and check the whole catalog out. And don't forget, April, the Vanilla Tape's coming, the new Granddad project, and it's another amazing one. It's another great one, and I think you're going to enjoy it just like people who've enjoyed my other stuff. So, signing out again, Granddad Woolly. Thanks for your time. Chrome and Ivory, 5 years. We're still making classics.